Mesdames et messieurs, le Q&A va commencer. Mesdames et messieurs, dernier appel pour les gens qui veulent écouter le Q&A de Monsieur Ben Kent, le réalisateur du film Killer Weekend.
Good evening. Welcome. It took a little while. Really sorry for that, but
no problem.
Well, we can get started.
Glad
now.
to be here.
So that was funny.
Thank you very much.
I think you had a lot of fun on set as well.
Yeah, I figure if you don't enjoy yourself on set when you're making a comedy, it's never going to be fun to watch.
You have to have fun in life, and when working, you will never work another day in life, right? So how did you got this idea from a real life example where things went wrong? Obviously not that bad as here. But you said something about, on the introduction, you said something about a broken finger. Is that the thing we saw in the beginning where he was like, he didn't want to do the sit-ups?
Oh no, it was just the idea that, so my friend went on this similar thing and it was run by ex-military and they just took it too seriously. And so it ceased to be fun for the people doing it and they were bullying the stag party and like they broke my friend's finger. So nothing really happened the other way on that stag do. So they didn't take revenge or anything, but it gave me the idea that what if they did overreact? So it was just a...
But you said there was a broken finger, so that they did sort of already overact a bit.
Well, I mean, the squaddies, the baddies overreacted, but the stag party didn't do anything.
Okay. So how did when what? Sorry, I'm stuttering. When was this, and how did you got the idea to actually make a movie out of this?
I don't know. It's about 3-4 years ago. I heard the story, and then I was just lying in bed at night thinking of ideas to try and just ideas for a reasonably budgeted film, something I could probably make myself. And I don't know how the synapses connect, but suddenly it's like, oh, that's an idea. And at first I was thinking, maybe someone told me this idea, like, have I stolen it from somewhere? But so far I haven't. I don't think I have.
I've never seen it before, so I guess not.
Score.
Yeah, bang. So this was filmed in an area with a bunker, with this old army bunker. Did that pose some challenges to film that there? And I assumed your surroundings were also in that area?
No, they weren't actually. Most of the woods were in Surrey, which is south of London, and then the bunker was in Essex, which is north. Planes are a big problem that you don't really think about around London, but every woods we looked at was like every 5 minutes. So that was a challenge. The bunker was reasonably easy to shoot in. So it is actually a Cold War nuclear bunker that they'd built. And we had to film around the public, but it turns out that not that many people visit historical sites on a general weekday, so it was pretty easy. Yeah.
Okay,
yeah.
cool.
I think the hardest bit was actually filming in the car at the beginning, which I thought beforehand would be the easiest scene ever.
Okay.
But no, that was a nightmare.
Okay, cool.
So basically you wrote the script, you directed it, and you financed it. So it's really your movie. So you got the idea, but how did you get the guts to actually make it happen?
The guts?
Yes.
Oh.
So it took really courage to actually have the idea and make it to real. Everybody got idea, but not so many people actually do things. So what was the trigger for you?
I think if you tell everyone you're going to do it, then it's too embarrassing not to do it, so you have to. It's just committing.
That's a good start.
Yes, indeed.
I'd bored people for too many years. I had to finish something.
You had to do it.
Yeah.
You had to do it.
You also did crowdfunding, if I'm right. So how did that go? Did that go easy? And of course, doing that, you have to make it. So that's also the same as telling, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, crowdfunding ended up being more of a sort of top up. I mean, I'm super, grateful to everyone who helped. But I think before that, we'd financed most of the movie. But you're right. Once you've crowdfunded, I think once you've raised any of the money, you have to do it.
Yeah.
And once it's almost like it felt like a train with its own life at some points. Once you commit and start casting, just the wheels start turning and everything falls into place. Mm-hmm. But you have to just take the leap. That's how it felt.
Okay. And you say the casting. How did that go? Did you have a lot of work finding the right characters, because you have a whole bunch of different personalities?
Yeah. I didn't feel like work because I love the casting process. When someone reads it exactly how you imagined it, it's such a great feeling. There was a lot of fun. Some of the parts were easier to fill than others, and Mark, who played the father-in-law, he was someone I've been a fan of for 20 years, so someone I always wanted in the film. So that was just ask and hope, and
you were really happy.
We were really happy when he said yes.
Yeah, I can imagine. So can we ask how much budget it was to make this project?
It was just over 100 grand.
That's 100,000. Yeah. Okay. So and how long did you shoot?
17 days.
17 days. Mm-hmm. Okay. So that's it's a good result.
Yeah, it was. We were filming pretty much 10 pages a day some days, so it was hard work.
Yeah. Not work. It's,
Okay, it was hard fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, it became an exercise at points in like, how can we film this in the minimum number of shots?
Yeah.
Which was quite an interesting creative exercise as well, because some of the shots or the scenes I think turned out better for that.
Okay, thank you.
Do you still have friends that will get married soon? And do you go to stag nights and things like that? Or are you now totally afraid to go there?
No, I'd love to go on some more. I think most of my friends are married, but yeah, still, actually, the strip scene was basically taken from a different stag do of a friend as well. Same belt was used for the same thing.
The strip scene is terrible, really. It's terrible. Is it nice from a male point of view, this strip scene?
No, it's funny because it's humiliating to the. It's not supposed
so
to
we
be.
got the same feeling.
Yeah.
It's not especially.
No, it's not supposed to be sexy.
Okay.
It's there to humiliate the groom in front of his friends.
Okay, so this is the kind of thing men do in stag night, humiliate their friend.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
But at least in England, I can't speak for the rest of the world.
Probably
But
the same in Belgium.
I think we're the same everywhere.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's how it goes.
yeah.
Is there a question from the public? Yeah, we've got one.
Hello.
Hello.
I have a couple of questions. One is, what did you shoot on?
It was a red epic.
Okay. And second, you said the car scene was a nightmare. Could you tell us a bit more? Was it from a technical point of view, or?
So it takes ages to set the car up on the low
Rig.
loader. So I think part of it was because we didn't budget enough time for it. So we ended up filming it twice. I kind of wrote that scene to be easy to film, thinking, one location, we bang through it quickly, and it would have been so much easier if I'd written what I probably wanted to write. Which, so yeah, also then, it rains for a few takes, and then, I've got to go and wipe the windscreens down, then the sun's at a different angle, and it was, surprisingly difficult.
Yeah, and so was it something that you had written, you just wrote it, you said, instead of something you would rather have written, but which was more difficult? Is that what you said?
Yeah, sort of. Which I thought was more difficult,
Right,
probably
yeah.
wasn't. Yeah. I'm not saying I had a different opening that I dismissed, but if I was, thinking completely freely, I might have
Gone another direction.
gone another direction.
And what was the hardest? Or did you have to add, any days, or were you able to stick to the schedule, or is it just because you had to refilm that scene, you had to add a couple of days?
We didn't add any days, actually. We got a second camera in for the last 3 days.
You had two cameras.
Only right at the end. So we would push scenes as the schedule got tighter. And then it was one of the least stressful shoots I've ever done, because when you're doing a 3-day short, if you're missing something on any day, it's okay, well, if we don't get it done today, every day is stressful. Whereas when it's 17 days, you feel like, okay, we'll just push it.
I can get it at the end.
So it's only stressful when you realize, oh my God, we've got 6 days of shooting to do and there's 3 days left. And then we got in a second camera.
Okay. And did that make you go over budget or not?
No, not really.
Not really.
It didn't add much to it. Possibly we didn't really have a strict budget at that point anyway, or I didn't care. I didn't care by that point. It's like whatever. Okay. We'll get an overdraft.
Right. Do you have like I don't know if the same thing is done in the UK as in the US, but usually we budget like a 10% contingency plan.
Yeah, we were
You
through
did
that
not.
before we started shooting.
Okay.
But we did it, and then we used it, and then.
But you were able to, you weren't short on money. Basically, you were able to finish it nonetheless. That's lucky. That's very lucky. That's rare.
We were short of money in the sense of we could have easily wanted to spend more. I didn't have a dolly for half the film. It was definitely not extravagant at any point. And like I say, we were filming everything with the minimum number of shots we could just to get through the pages. We had an amount of money, and we knew we had to finish in those days, and we just did what we had to get through it.
Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else, or are one of the lives? We're live on YouTube, so if there's anyone live on YouTube that wants to ask you questions, just go ahead. I will answer them along the way. Is there anyone else in the audience? So, this was your first feature. Are there things, or what are the things that you learned that you will never forget for the future?
I should really have an answer for that, shouldn't I?
You had 17 days to find, to learn something, I guess.
Don't know.
So everything went well. There's nothing.
Okay, so I learned that filming scenes in cars is not that easy.
Okay,
so
yeah.
don't do that. No, I think I've had too many beers, to be honest. I'm sure I do have an answer for that normally.
So I know, don't drink too many beers before the Q&A.
Before a Q&A, absolutely.
It's a lesson.
Yeah. I'm quite forgetful after a beer. So.
Yeah, that's what it does, right?
Yeah.
I noticed that the name changed a few times, the name of the movie. It started with Game Over. It's Killer Weekend. IMDb says it's FUBAR.
Oh, IMDb should say Killer Weekend now.
Okay.
I hope.
Well, it didn't an hour ago.
Really?
Or 2 hours ago. Yeah.
That's really disturbing.
Because I searched for Killer Weekend and I saw the poster, but it said FUBAR. Okay, so Killer Weekend is the final.
It's definitely Killer Weekend.
Final.
Yeah.
Well, how did that process go? How did you?
So Game Over was working title, really. I don't think I ever intended it to stay as Game Over, but then you get used to it and you forget that you ever meant to change it, and we were going to live with that. And then Netflix released a film last year called Game Over Man. And at the time we thought, oh, that's a bit close, and it could be a reasonably big film. So I don't think it turned out to be. Mm-hmm. But we decided we better change it, so we brainstormed and came up with FUBAR. And then the distributors thought it was maybe a little bit of an obscure term, so we had to change it and went for Killer Weekend.
Which is, I think, a good choice, because my next question would be why would you change from Killer Weekend to FUBAR, but no. You didn't.
So we did.
It was the other way around. So
I learned to. I remember when we first chose FUBAR, I wasn't that excited by it, but I really learned. I think I'm a creature of habit, and when you get used to something, it has to be that way. And so I learned to love FUBAR, and then I love Killer Weekend now.
Yeah, but, it has a. Well, it's more direct, and it says.
Well, it says what it is.
It says what it is,
yeah.
and it's very clear. Yeah. So I like the title and the movie. Yeah?
Thank you.
Match together.
How did you feel when you were in the room with us watching the movie? How does it feel to watch the movie with the public and see its reaction?
It's interesting. I personally start analysing which jokes work, and I think that's different depending on the audience. Like I was saying to you earlier, I was very worried about how many words there were for subtitling, but I love the audience here as well. I mean, it's amazing when any audience that claps when people get killed is my kind of audience.
And what is your next project?
So I have a web series coming out in about a month on YouTube called Off the Ball, which is about football agents. It's a comedy thing. After that, I don't have anything in the pipeline. Kind of taking a little bit of time to see how it all settles.
We have another question in the audience, so we'll go there right away.
Sorry, me again. Just checked on IMDb. It's still written as it's still titled FUBAR on IMDb, which made me wonder: do you have a press agent or someone who takes care of that, or is that all on you as well?
No, that's us. But I mean, it has been changed. This is some weird. So, where does it look like?
No, here it says FUBAR. Look, sorry.
All the comments say FUBAR, but then you have.
Oh, look.
Yeah, but click on it and it's all FUBAR.
We'll check it right away.
It's called FUBAR, but then you have the poster that says Killer Weekend.
Yeah.
All the comments say FUBAR, but the poster says Killer Weekend.
The title says Killer Weekend.
Anyway, so that's you. When you say we, it's you and who?
That's another one.
Oh, me and the producers.
Okay.
This is another one. Wait, let me check that.
And so does that budget, is that extra budget, is that coming out of your pocket, or is it still the producers? Is that...
I didn't know. No more budget.
No more budget.
There's no more budget.
So
we blew through that.
Okay, so basically anything now festival-related, press and, I don't know, advertising, whatever, that's you alone?
Oh my, it does still say FUBAR.
Yes. You just probably need to check IMDb again. Just keep writing to them. They can be annoying like that.
Yeah, I mean, we have done the bit to change it, but clearly
IMDb does strange things. I had it too once.
Yeah, they will demand that you prove who you are, that you are allowed to change the title.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's something to fix.
Check that.
Yeah.
All right, so thank you.
Thank you for your question. Is there anyone else who has a question?
So obviously you've directed multiple media, and having done a film and doing a web series now, how different do you find directing for TV-like products or online series and films? How much of a difference does it make for you as a director?
I guess there's a quality difference that you can get away with for YouTube that you don't have to worry about, certainly for online stuff. The last YouTube series, Off the Ball, was a lot of stuff set in one location, so we could really, it wasn't a problem to bang through 12 pages in a day. Film, occasionally you can, but if you want, it needs to look good for a start, which YouTube doesn't. So it's trickier in that sense. There's other concerns you have to think about with YouTube as well. I suppose you got to think about online stuff. It's got to work without sound. Hopefully, because people, especially if you put it on Facebook, then people are not necessarily going to even have the sound on. So then that's something to think about. Yeah, I don't know. Does that answer the question?
Thank you. You're out of questions. Actually, I'm also out of questions, really. Sorry. I'm out of questions and out of voice. I want to say thank you, and thank you for being here. Thank you for your nice movie.
Thank you for having me.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
We will have a signing session right now. We will start with the BIF signing, and then the audience members can come and ask for a signature. So you're released yet.
Okay.
In a short while. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pour les gens qui veulent venir faire signer un autographe au réalisateur du film Killer Weekend, venez et faites la queue parce que je vais passer en premier. Tac. I have this book for you. So it's our book of the dead of the festival. You want to write something for us? It's our electronomic one.
I was checking.
Can you pretend to drink it?